when Judy got a hold of me and said, there's a thing going on at CAM and I want you to talk, and I thought, well, shit, what am I supposed to say? And I think it was probably because as I look around, one of the few people who probably not only remembers Mary's, but probably had their photos somewhere in the bar top. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But when I started thinking about the relationship between the bar and Stonewall, I realized that the commonality was Stonewall for our community gave us a voice. And through the years, we have taken that voice and we have refined it, we have expanded upon it, and most definitely we have used it. And I think that's the legacy. And I think that also portrays and kind of correlates with the legacy of the bar itself. For those of y'all who do remember the bar, it was one that had no pretense whatsoever, more so than any other establishment, and hopefully Charles Armstrong's not here, that has been in existence here in the city of Houston. You could walk in, you could have a street hustler sitting on one side of you, and a professor from Rice from U of H sitting on the other. You could have a conversation, at the end of the day, walk around and walk away feeling good. So I encourage as we talk about the going-ons and afterwards, please take a look at the photos of the bar top. For some of us, it will be happy moments. Some of us will reminisce. But at the end of the day, they were all good moments. Thank you.
I can assure you that I'm only here because Judy Reeves, when she asks you to do something, you go ahead and do it because she's going to stay after you feel you do. Now, I have to admit, I was not at Mary's when it began, nor most of its life. About 88, 89, 90, and that's where I first was introduced to Mary's. I guess my first experience was during a pride parade, and I had no idea what Mary's was all about, but I did know that all of these people were up on top of Mary's watching the parade, and so I said, well, I think I'll just go through here and actually see what's going on here. And so I walked in one door, I looked around, saw the motorcycle hanging up there, and the bar tops and people everywhere, and I just walked out the other door. I had no idea what was going on in Mary's at that time. However, after that, taking photos of various organizations raising money, then I became very familiar with Mary's and the bar top, because so many times people would jump up on the bar top to get a photo taken, because that seemed to be a good thing to do. And the bartenders were especially interested in people taking photos, so I did that. But most of my photos, which I've got thousands, I'm sure, at Mary's, are on film, and you probably know that the Dalton DeHart Photographic Foundation is in the process of getting over 330,000 images on film, digitized and put onto the foundation website, from which you'll be able to download photos there. And after about 5, they'll ask you to make a little donation to keep the foundation going. But then, when I was going to Mary's, of course, I guess all of you probably know Mary's, especially during Louis weekend. That's when I took more photos at Mary's, I guess, than any other, probably all the other times combined, because things were going on in the bar, out on the patio, and back in the outback, yes. And, those are probably the photos that will not appear. Most of those in the outback will not be on the website. I got with Gary Wood said, I would inherit all of those, and I said, well, we'll have to talk about that. But Mary's, I went there many times after that, and Mark is so correct in that when you went into Mary's, if you didn't leave feeling a part of the community and feeling really good about all of the people who were in there, because they were all there for a common purpose, because during those days, we were not out everywhere taking pictures and holding hands and that sort of thing. In fact, we were barely visible. But I would go in there and take photos, and there'd be fundraising. The little stage over there across from the bar tops, they would get up there and perform, and I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars were raised doing that, but a lot. And so Mary's was probably one of the most important locations in the city, certainly in the community, because it was the oldest, and as people related to me, that at 7 o'clock in the morning, I think it opened at 7. At 7 o'clock, there were always 1 or 2 or 3 people standing at the door waiting to get in. And I admit, I never was there that time of day. And I went when there were events going on. So Mary's has a special place in all of our hearts, and I'm so delighted that we have the bar tops. I don't know how many of you know people in the pictures on the bar tops, but I'm very thankful that we do have those bar tops to be part of our history, and it's delightful that all of you are here, and that's quite all enough for me to say, but it was an amazing time and still is. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Keever, and yes, I've been around since the invention of time in Gate, Houston, but I have been very lucky over the years to have been and done many things that happened from every location. We had Kathy Whitmire there at the bar inside when I think it was the year that she won her Tootsie. But yeah, she was in there. We had half the city council in there. Back then, it was just what you did. Mary's was the gay, for lack of a better term, country club that everybody went to, no matter who you were, no matter what you did. And this is one of the teachers from Mary's that was the National Bar of Texas, which of course it was. Since we mentioned Ruby, but I was lucky enough to help out with Fanny and all of them. Not right at the very beginning like Mark, but I came here in '81, and went immediately started going, oh my goodness. But yes, and I worked for the Trip magazine for 13 and a half years, and so we had always functions there and raising money, and that was back when they had no idea that people were getting sick or how to do something about that. And Mary stepped up. Mary started having shows on the patio in the back. And people would come and perform and raise money $1 at a time. But Mary's, to me, it meant community, it meant home. It meant, here we are, this is us. We don't have to worry about all that out there. I'm 67 this year, so I laugh, I'm going, oh goodness. But I really did love Mary's. The Westheimer Street Art Festival started on Westheimer in front of Mary's. We used to do shows up above so that they would stare and all, but I mean, marriage was what was just the emphasis portion of the gay community, excuse me, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender community. I'm old, that's what I said gay, but I'm so glad that y'all came by. I'm so impressed about this. It's just phenomenal and so wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here.
Okay, so at this time, we'd like to open it up for anyone who would like to share a story, whether it be about maybe a Texas pinning, the bathtub upstairs at Mary's, the Outback, whatever. Feel free.
Rainbow.
I know all about Mary's. I didn't go there at 7 o'clock in the morning, but a lot of times I was the last one to leave. But I remember Mary's. There's a lot of things, a lot of stories. When this event opened a couple weeks ago, I was standing over there by the bar tops, and there people were commenting about the bar tops, and they were saying, I bet most of these people are dead. And I tapped them on the shoulder, and I said, oh no, I'm right here, and here's my picture. I'm the one with the clown, I'm the clown in the front bar top there. But I have done all kinds of things at Mary's legally. We performed on top of Mary's during the street festival. I had an opportunity to do that. I became mother of Montrose in 1995 in the back of, on the backstage, the stage in the patio. I remember Halloween. Oh my God. It took like a half hour to get from the bathroom to the back door. And there were no bar stools there at all. I remember the high heel races. Any of you participate in the high heel races? Easter time, we would dress up in our bonnets and dresses and high heels. And we used to go from the Venture Inn to Mary's, and we walked it. Then a year or so later, we drove to each bar. And then ran from the Valero station to the bar. I won that race once. To the bar, but I lost on a technicality. The reason I lost on a technicality is because you was to run to the bar, inside, and order a drink. I ran all the way to the corner, and Miss Gingivitis, she opens the door, and became the winner of the high heel race. There were times we raised money doing the high heel race. We ran from Mary's to Kroger's. It was, remember that? We were there to pick out 5 items for stone soup on our heels, our dresses, and bonnets. I wish they would have had a video. We had like a security video of these queens going into Kroger's and buying things. It was fun. In fact, there was one time, 2 queens, all dressed up, I mean big hair, had one item between them. Each one of them wanted that item. It would have been a great video to share at GCAM. Now, one thing about this exhibit here is called Stonewall 50. Now, I wasn't at the original bar raid at Mary's. I was at the last bar raid that Vice performed in 1994, July 1994, at a bar. It was off Southwest Freeway. It was going to be a motel, bar, dinner. I mean, it was almost going to be like this Mary's thing up here, where they had a meal and everything. And I went into this bar, possibly to get a gig, okay? That's what my whole thing was. And I walked in, and it was called the Triangle Bar. And the people, okay, y'all know my name, right? You don't know my name?
Say your name.
Yeah, what was my name back there in 1994? Rainbow.
Rainbow Be Clown.
Okay. And everybody, when I walked in the bar, were yelling, Rainbow, Rainbow, Rainbow. And so, what does a queen do when she hears her name? She reacts. And the more you react, oh yeah, yeah. Well, faster I can move forward. And I sit down and I have my first cocktail. And the next thing I know, there's a guy with his hand on my arm. He said, "You're arrested." And I said, "And you're a male dancer." And no, he put the cuffs on me and dragged me into this room, and there was like 15 other people there in a circle. Oh, we're gonna have a real show. It didn't happen that way. I was really arrested, and I was arrested for PI. I didn't even know what PI meant, but being publicly intoxicated at a bar. And I hadn't had a drink all day. And then I said, "Give me any test. Give me any test. Give me the one that Rudy T refused to take a week ago." This is 1994. And they told me to do the alphabet backwards. Can you all do that? Can't do that? Yes, you can. I want you all to turn around. But that's what happened. I was arrested, taken to jail. They mark you when you go to jail as a gay person. You have a little red band on your arm. Everybody else has a blue one. And when the people come down and have the blue one, they're all cheering. So what did I do? Well, first of all, when I was arrested, guess what? I am wearing the actual shirt that I wore at during the bar raid. Okay? I would have passed by the
You let me my brother, but there are people with.
Okay. Well, fast story, you can read the rest of the story in the Houston Press. It's called Gay Old Time at Fuzzy's, because after I was arrested and put in jail, and after my cellmate quieted down and went to sleep, I was thinking, they've been raiding our bars for years. They've been raiding Mary's and all these bars. It's time to raid their bar. And I knew a bar called Fuzzy's downtown. And that's what we did. We raided it 2 weeks later, and you can read the story in the you can Google Gay Old Time at Fuzzy's Houston Press and read the whole story about that bar. Thank you.
That is not an act I want to follow, but here we are. Hello, my name is Nick Stinson. I wanted to tell the story not because I'm a great storyteller, but in honor of my best friend Marley Kaufman, who lives in New York. I grew up here in Houston and driving past Mary's when it was pink and had the big mural on the side, and I was 12 or something, and just so enamored with what must be going on inside of that building. I went away to college when I was 18 and was away for a few years, and I finally came back to Houston, and the first thing I wanted to do was like, this is what I want to do. I want to go to Mary's. Finally, I'm old enough, I could go. Marley was in town, so we went. By then, the building was beige, and only the cat was left on the side of the building. I know, so sad. But so we go in, we're getting cocktails on a Sunday afternoon, it's about 12, and we walk in, we're the only people there in the bar itself. We get some dollar vodka drinks, and we take them out back. And out there is a patio of people sitting around the table just having cocktails, and they invite us over and bring us in, and it's kind of like a wild crew filled with hustlers and tweakers, and somebody starts sucking dick for pills in the corner. And we were just like, this is phenomenal. This is incredible. And so the hours passed by, and we're getting increasingly drunker. And one of the guys who I will not name, but whose name I do know and remain in touch with, he says, "Come, it's 5 o'clock. Come, we have to go. We're leaving now." And he piles us into this van, and we get in the back of this minivan, no seats. He's not got a seatbelt, he's driving this thing, we're flung around in the back seat, and he takes us to Michael's Outpost. And he says, "It's 5 o'clock, I've got to sing my Sinatra. I have to go." So we came in, and that's where we went, and it felt like such a gift, because shortly thereafter Mary's closed, but this guy had kind of brought us to what would then become my new favorite space and my new home. And it was such a gift to me and Marley, and such a pivotal moment in our friendship, and seemed to me so much of what Mary's was about is that friendship. So I'm grateful for you all to be here. Thank you.
All right, my story is a little bit different. So I moved here in the very early 90s, and Mary's was the first bar that I actually walked into, and I see a lot of faces here tonight that I have grown with and become a human with, and who I am today. Marc Cohen, Brian, Dennis, Judy Reeves, all of them have really been pillars in our community and have really helped us grow. So I don't really like to talk in front of people, so I'm a little bit nervous, and Judy put me on the spot. So two things I wanted to say is, when I came to Houston, I came here as a very young HIV-infected man, and I had no idea what I was doing, what my next turn was, or what I was supposed to do. And when I walked into Mary's, it was the first night I remember, and they were having an HIV benefit. It was the first time I'd ever seen men dressed up as women and act crazy to raise money to fight an epidemic that was unheard of. So these guys took me under their wings and really brought me into a community that was strong. I not only ended up putting a dress on a time or two myself and did a few fundraisers. I was second runner-up in the Miss Mint Julep contest. I did do my second race, actually I tied for first, but I'm still going to say I won that one. So anyway, I did end up becoming a bartender at Mary's. That was a long time ago, 20 years. I then became also an advocate with HIV and became a part of an organization called the Lazarus House, who helped people with HIV and AIDS become strong. So I became one of their personal trainers, and I grew from being a bartender, young kid that was getting into all the trouble at Mary's, to basically becoming an advocate in the community, which I miss so much. I've kind of moved on now, but I miss those days a lot, and those were the best times of my life. And Mary's cannot be replaced. So I'm glad that the bar top was saved. A lot of people, when Mary's closed, was concerned about what was going to happen to it. A lot of people did not know, and today they know. So thank you very much.
There's a couple of things that I wanted to mention, because I haven't heard them mentioned, that were important to me. I think the very first time I ever walked into Mary's was in 1985. My boyfriend and I at the time lived in Baton Rouge, and in my continuing education project, we came to Houston and we went to the Rip Court, and then he took me to Mary's. And of course, we walked out back to the Mary's, and I'm like, why is there a bathtub here? And luckily I didn't get a demonstration, but it was explained to me that, that was someone would get into the bathtub, and people would be on them, and that was just a fairly common practice at Mary's. I have seen it since then, but one of the big things I always remember about Mary's, and I think about it every year at Christmas time, is the Christmas tree.
Yes.
That Christmas tree went up before anybody else's did, and it was the last one down. But, and of course, all of the people that were there at the Pride Parade, as the parade marched in front of it. Several years before Mary's closed, I did go in with my scanner and scanned the bar top. I was involved with GCAM since its inception, and that bar top to me was a very important part of the history of Mary's, and we weren't sure. At that point, we already knew, there were already rumors that Mary's wasn't going to survive forever. And we were concerned about the bar top, and it was like, at least if I can scan it, we'll have it. And I spent about a week, 2 or 3 hours every day, working on the pictures of the bar top when I got done. And I have a piece about 3 feet by 3 feet that's actually cleaned up. So I figure if I'm retired and live to be 100, we might eventually get the entire bar top cleaned up and pieced back together. But we are grateful that we have that in GCAM today. And it's so great to look out and see this many people here. Thank you.
Okay, so if no one else has stories, Dalton, Brian, one of y'all join me up here if anyone would like to ask questions. And I have one for y'all. Have y'all ever been in a bar that had a cemetery in the back of it? Can you raise your hand? Have you ever been? Okay, so we know who's been in Mary's, right? Because believe it or not, there was a cemetery in the backyard of Mary's for individuals whose families had pretty well kind of thrown them away because of their HIV status. But the community wanted to honor them by giving them a proper place to live out their lives in our hearts and our memories. Questions, please.
I was going to say the ashes, just the ashes.
And some body fluids, I'm sure. Questions?
I know someone's got to have something to
Do you
say.
have a picture of Mary's bar when it was a Jacob restaurant, when you guys decorated it up? It was like the outside was.
I don't. I started in about '89 taking pictures over there, and I was not really aware of all these things that Marc and him were talking about.
And I think that's about the years. And then about the year they did it.
I have one.
So
Sir,
I've come across quite a few pictures of a float that it looked like was in a parade with a cop car. Can y'all tell maybe? I'm interested a little bit more in what that story was.
that was Fanny Farmer's Cadillac, and they had that was Fanny Farmer's Cadillac, who was the owner of the bar, and he had it, and most people knew if they saw that vehicle that was his. And so I think, and I'm not sure whatever actually happened to it finally, but I know that it was put on more than one float, professionally built float, because Houston has a wonderful distinction as being one of the best cities in the United States for professionally built, nice floats that talk about our community. Yes, we do. Some of them shouldn't be quite so commercialized, but at the same time, we have had so many wonderful times. The lighting of the Christmas tree on top of Mary's was wonderful because we brought the Montrose singers, the Montrose band, Andy Mills, and they would do carols for the lighting of the Christmas tree to start the season for Montrose. But
I want to talk about the car for a minute. I think the last time the car was in a parade, was for Stonewall 25. And the car had been decorated, it was on a large platform, it had been decorated, it had been put up on springs. And there was a drag queen on each end of it beating the car with baseball bats, and the car was just bouncing. And a police officer, or one in the uniform, was trying to get inside the car. And it had a big triangle on the back of it that said Stonewall 25 on it. So that was the last time the car was in the parade. We do have good pictures of it done by Frank Parsons. Also, because I can, I'm going to do a shameless PSA. Y'all seen this? Yeah. Scotty Swollen was the original artist at Mary's. He did all the windows every week. He did the murals. He did a whole lot of artwork for Mary's. He did not do the logo, however. I did believe that was Paul Pruitt. Yes. I don't remember Paul's drag name. Rosy Cheeks, yes, of course. Well, I know that. I just couldn't think of his name for the moment. But these t-shirts are for sale during this 13-week period that this event is open. Downstairs in the gift shop. And they're $19.95 plus tax. So please get your t-shirts. Very limited number, because when they're gone, we are not printing anymore. So that's all I'm going to say.
And the money goes to people. The money from the t-shirt.
Some of the money goes to GCAM. Okay. Doesn't matter, just buy a t-shirt.
Any other questions? Questions, comments? Please take an opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, the music. Fran? Yes.
I just want to really just thank y'all for being here. Before I came out, I worked at the Wendy's by the Marys and my first job. And so the pride was still in the daytime, and when I walked out and just saw my, what would be future community, and seeing the dancers and the singers on top of Mary's, I just knew I was at home. I had to my break was a little longer than 30 minutes.
I would encourage you to take some time, look at the exhibit, definitely look at the bar tops. If I'm not mistaken, the museum is open till 9. Gift shop probably is open till 9 as well. So grab a shirt, look at the wonderful photos, reminisce, and enjoy what Houston has and always will have. Pride.